Okay, ethics and values education. So before we move on, the definition of ethics and values education here, we first need to look on what is ethics. So when we talk about ethics here, on a general definition or on a layman's definition, it's like ethics is what is the proper way on doing things, diba? Like for example, if you are in the meeting, diba? And then may dumating na isang tao, wala man lang ka-excuse. And then sasabihin natin, ay wala man lang ka-ethics ito, no? In some point. So when we hear about the word ethics, uh, we always think na ethics is the proper way of doing it. Okay, what is the right way on doing it? Like for example, how do we respect? How do we put decorum or proper on a certain meeting or togetherness that we have? Okay, so when we talk about proper, I have a question to everybody actually. Uh, what is ethics? Or why do we need ethics pala? Kasi nga, when you say what is ethics, gamitin natin yung layman's definition, which is to do what is right or what is the right way to do it. And that is ethics. But the next question there is, why do we need ethics? No? Bakit ba kailangan natin ng ethics? Okay, so to answer that question, we need ethics because there is no order. Okay, there is no peace and order, harmony in the society without ethics. If everybody doesn't know how to do what is right or what is the right way to do it, well, of course, what will happen to the society is that there would be chaos. No, there are no laws, there are no rules and regulations that will limit the freedom of everybody. Because if you give unlimited freedom to everyone could do whatever they want. Of course, some of the freedom of others might be sacrificed or inaapakan nila some of your rights or even your own freedom. That is why we need ethics because ethics is the one that will guide the people how to be or how to limit their own freedom. Okay, what is the right way to do it? Remember, we are governed by the laws that we have, and because of the laws that we can uh, we can maintain peace and order in the society. Kasi kung walang ethics, there would be no order, peace, or even harmony. Okay. Now, saan ba nanggaling yun? Where did it come from? According to Thomas Hobbes, I know that some of you know this philosopher, Thomas Hobbes. So Thomas Hobbes defined man as he defined man as evil. Okay, so according to Thomas Hobbes, the nature of man is to survive. The nature of man is to self-preserve. By Hobbes, he believed that in order for man or human being to survive, he must know how to self-preserve. So how do we self-preserve? Of course, we need to look for food, we need to look for shelter, and even money. So if we know how to self-preserve, we become evil. Kasi nga, we do not think of others, but rather we only think for our own self. Kaya nga self-preservation. Hindi naman sabing community preservation. So since the nature of man daw is to self-preserve, man becomes evil. Okay? So gagawin nilang lahat para lang makasurvive. Pwedeng magnakaw, pumatay, ano pa, whatever crimes that they may do, okay, that will make them evil. But kay Hobbes, normal lang yun. Kasi sabi ni Hobbes, evil tayo eh. We are given the nature to self-preserve. Okay? But here comes Aristotle. According to Aristotle naman, man is known as a moral being. So when you say moral being, man is capable to know what is morality. So what is morality? Very simple. Morality is knowing what is right and wrong. So according to Aristotle, even though a man Okay, the nature of man is to self-preserve. It doesn't mean that man doesn't have knowledge of what? Knowing what is right and then wrong. Okay? Sabi niya, parang ganito lang. Hindi naman tayo bobo. Okay? The God or Lord had given us a knowledge for us to know what is right or wrong. So since we are capable to think, and then alam naman natin ng pagnanakaw ay bawal, ang pagpatay ay bawal, so therefore, it doesn't mean that we are automatically evil. Okay? You could become evil depending on the choice that you do. Okay? That is according to Aristotle. However, pinipilit pa rin nga ni Hobbes na they become evil because of their own nature, which is to self-preserve. Okay? That is for ethics lang muna. Okay. Before we proceed with the definition of ethics here, let us first know or define philosophy. So philosophy came from two Greek words. From etymological perspective, when you say etymology, the origin of the word, saan galing yung word na yan. So from the etymological perspective of philosophy, it came from the word philo and then sophia, which means love and wisdom. Okay? So, unang-una, ano bang meaning ng wisdom? Siguro ang love, alam naman na natin. Okay? So, when you say love, siguro may gusto kasi isang tao or uh, i, parang kung isang bagay, you like doing it a lot. Okay? You are doing it habitually. Mahilig ka sa okay, mahilig kang magbike, mahilig kang you have the talent for singing or playing musical instruments, and then laging ganun ang ginagawa mo, maybe that is love. Okay? As long as you are partnered with something that you like to do. Okay? But when we say wisdom here in philosophy, uh, wisdom is the creativeness on making ideas and thoughts. Okay, please take note of that one. Wisdom is the creativeness of making ideas and then thoughts. So anong ibig sabihin niyan? Remember, according to Aristotle, we are given the intelligence for us to know what is right or wrong. That's why he called us as the moral beings. Okay, so we are rational beings. In other words, according to him, then tayo lang daw ang rational beings. We are able to reason out in other. Okay, so since love of wisdom is about philosophy, it is about thinking. Okay, when you think what you do make ideas and then thoughts. You make your own theories, you make your own philosophy. So the same with Aristotle then, because he was given very intelligent mind, he was able to create some of his books na hindi pa kumpleto, di ba? Kaya nga parang siya actually yung father ng lahat, di ba? Father of this, father of that. Kasi siya yung nauna. But anyway, when we talk about wisdom, we use our minds to explain things on how the way we understand them. Okay? We explain things the way we understand them. Kaya nga sabi natin, in some actions, some people would interpret it as wrong, but some would interpret it as correct. Well, depending on how they are able to explain or depending on what culture that they have, they have the capability to think for them to judge what is right or wrong. Since philosophy now is about loving on creating knowledge, so let's define philosophy here. Philosophy is the search for meaning of life and reality. Okay, so dito muna tayo sa first definition. Search for the meaning of life and reality. Okay, so one of the reason that's why we create different philosophies is for us to know the meaning of life and reality. Bakit ano ba ang meaning? Bakit? Why do we give meaning to what we observe in our community or in our environment? So what is the importance nga ba ang pagbibigay ng meaning sa isang bagay? Okay? So first of all, Meaning gives existence to something. Diba? You cannot exist without a purpose, without a meaning. Okay? Like for example, upuan or a chair. Are you going to call a chair, okay? A chair as a chair if you cannot sit on it? Okay? Tatawagin mo bang upuan ng upuan kung hindi mo ito maupuan? Diba? So, the main purpose of a chair is for you to sit on. If you remove that purpose, then therefore, the existence of the chair becomes no more. Okay? Ano pa? The same with the laptop. What is the main purpose of the laptop that we use? Mga cellphone natin. Diba? It is capable to, ano bang function nila? Input, process, and then output. Okay? So if you remove the purpose of the laptop, can you call laptop as a laptop without its own purpose? Of course, no. So therefore, here in philosophy, we give meaning or we give purpose into something in order to make it exist. Kaya nga dito, search for meaning of life and reality. Okay. Without siguro philosophy, without the curiosity of people in the search of meaning of life and reality, we wouldn't be developed as what we have nowadays. Siguro, kung lahat ng tao tamad siguro na malaman kung anong katotohanan or for betterment or even development, baka wala tayong mga laptop na ginagamit ngayon. Diba? Wala tayong conferencing, walang cellphone, and so on and so forth. Okay? Next, after we give meaning to life and reality, there is known as yung critical evaluation of the facts of life. Okay, please take note of this one. The critical evaluation of the facts of life. So when we say critical evaluation, meaning we assess, we judge something that we observe in our own environment. Remember, sabi sa philosophy dito, we give meanings for us to make existence for something. Without purpose, without meaning, you cannot exist, right? Now, here, in the critical evaluation, we could give different meanings. Okay? Remember, everybody is given a knowledge. Everybody is given the capability to think. So therefore, everybody could also give meanings into something. Okay? So, bakit natin kailangan ng critical evaluation? Kasi hindi lahat, not all of the meanings given by different people are the truth or the facts. Okay? Hindi siya totoo. In other words, kaya kailangan natin ng critical evaluation for us to know what is the really truth behind the meanings being given by different people. Like for example, gamitin natin example ko kanina. Upuan or chair. So, can you give different purposes or meanings for a chair? Yes. Okay? Pwedeng sabihin ng isang tao, the main purpose of the chair is for you to throw to someone. Ibabato mo daw sa someone. Or pwede rin sabihin natin na ang chair daw ay tayuan. Okay? So, in other words, everybody could give different meanings into something. But yun nga ba talaga ang real meaning ng chair? Of course, no. Because the main purpose of the chair is for you to sit on. That is why here we need critical evaluation for us to know the fact or the truth behind the meanings given by different philosophers. And then lastly, of course, it is the study of the ultimate meaning, causes, principles, or explanations of reality, knowing the truth. Okay. So, to make it short lang, when we talk about philosophy, it is everyone's capability to think. Okay. So, everybody is given the intelligence to reason out. Since we have our own intelligence, everybody is capable to give meanings. But not all meanings provided by everybody are the truth. Kaya nga may tinatawag tayong mga theories na hindi pa proven. Okay? So that's why we need critical evaluation for us to verify whether the theory is really a fact or not. Okay? And please take note that philosophy is only one of the approaches to truth. Okay? Madami po tayong approaches in knowing the truth. So what are those? First is we have the philosophy. And of course, the main instrument that it uses is we have the reason or the mind. So utak lang po ang gamit natin when we are using philosophy as an approach for us to come up with truths. So ano ba yung mga activities ng ating mind? Okay, so we can have thinking, analyzing, reasoning, demonstrating, explaining, siguro lahat na siguro ng mga ing-ing na yan. Okay? So whatever truth that you have created in philosophy, of course, it is called as philosophical truths. Okay. Number two is we have science. So for science, there are two instruments being used by science for arriving truths. First, of course, the mind. And then secondly, it uses scientific instruments. So ano ba yung mga scientific instruments natin? If you still know about the scientific method, di ba? For us to understand the problem, of course, kailangan natin ng given. What is the problem? Okay. After that, we will have a hypothesis, and then we will have experimentation, and then conclusion. So it's not all about the mind, but as well as you need some experimentation for you to verify whether it is the truth or not. So of course, the activities here are the scientific method from what I said a while back. It is to observe and then gather the data based on what happened during the experimentation. And of course, if you come up with truth under the use of science, it is called as scientific truths. Okay? Next approach is we have theology. When we say theology here, theology is the study of religions with letter S po yan. Theology is the study of religions. Meaning, when you have theology, you study different religions. Unlike in some Catholic schools, when they say theology class, it is more concentrated to Roman Catholicism. No? But if you will really define theology, theology is the study of religions. So therefore, it does not only concentrate with Roman Catholicism, but different religions like Islam, Baptism, mga Protestants, and so on and so forth. So in theology, yun din, gumagamit din tayo ng mind for us to interpret what? Okay, for us to interpret the Bible or the words of God. No? I do not know. I know that some of you may have different religions, and some of you would disagree na there are different gods. Kasi some of the religions do not believe na your God is our God as well. Or sabi nyo, iisa lang ang God, but have different names. So here, please take note that the basis of truth that could be done for creating it is based on the words of God. So we have the Bible. Okay? Ang problema nga lang dyan, even though we have a certain Bible, dito na nagkakaroon. Yun nga, sabi nga sa philosophy, we are capable of thinking. We are capable of analyzing. And sometimes, some religions interpret differently some verses of the Bible. Okay? So walang universality. Like for example, let us say, according to the Bible, blood is life. Diba? Blood is life. Now, if you are a Jehovah Witnesses, no? How do you interpret that verse? Of course, according to Jehovah, you should not eat blood. Why? Because blood is life. It's like maybe if you eat the blood, you are taking someone's life. Siguro ganong interpretation din. But for Roman Catholicism, since the Bible is silent, wala namang sinabi si Bible na blood is life and it cannot be eaten. Wala namang sinabing ganon. According to the Bible, blood is life lang. So therefore, as interpreted by the Roman Catholicism, pwedeng kumain ng blood. So mga ganung bagay, di ba? So we have different interpretations even though we have a single Bible. Okay? How much more if you go with Islam, iba na naman. Di ba? Iba yung Quran. and so on and so forth. So of course, whatever truths that you would come up here in theology, it is known as theological or religious truths. And last but not the least is we have the common or ordinary. So what instrument that we use is still the mind or common sense. Okay? So how do we create truths ba based on common sense? Very simple. Nakita mo siguro sa yung mga ulap parang medyo uulan. So sabi mo sa sarili mo, magdadala ata ako ng payong kasi baka uulan. So you know to yourself that you have created a truth. What is that? Uulan. Yun nga lang hindi ka sigurado. Pero kinuha mo na yung payong, di ba? So those are some example lang of common sense. So what we always do this one every day for the common sense. Like for example, you would like to go to the school. Pero alam mo nakakapagod maglakad. So anong gagawin mo? Sasakay ka ng jeep. Okay? Magbabayad ka, all of those things. So those are the use of daily, basta yung mga ginagamit natin pang-araw-araw, those are common sense. But among all of the approaches here of the truths, what do you think is the most trusted na or the most reliable approach for arriving philosophical truths? Okay? So of course, ang pinaka-trusted or reliable is of course we have the science. Why? Because the science does not only use the mind, does not only use analyzation, but but it uses different method in order to verify yung nasa isip nila. Okay? Kasi it's not very conclusive for a mind to create a certain knowledge or a certain truth. Kailangan itong ma-prove. Kaya nga that is why some of the theories pa rin, kahit si Albert Einstein, his theory of relativity is not yet proven. Hindi yung some of which of the theory of relativity for Einstein, some of which were already proven. However, not all pa. I think it's what is proven is yung time dilation. That time is not permanent. But anyway, I will also explain that one kung ano ba yun, mga yun, as we go along with the different branches of philosophy. Okay? Okay, first branch of philosophy here. Sabi ko nga kanina, ethics is only one of the branches of philosophy. So at the last part of the branches of philosophy, we have ethics. Pero before we move on ethics, let us muna discuss some of the major branches of philosophy. Okay, hindi lahat ng ipapakita ko ay hindi yun ang lahat ng approaches or I mean branches, but meron pa madami, no? So we only have, I think, 5 ata ang linagay ko dito. Okay, first one is we have metaphysics. So from etymological perspective, it came from 2 Greek words named as meta, meaning beyond, and then number 2 is physico or physical or observable. That is why when you define metaphysics here, it deals with principles, structures, and meanings that underlie all observable reality. So, meaning, if we will elaborate here of metaphysics, we give meanings beyond on what is physical. Okay, nagets nyo? We give meanings on what is beyond physical. So, the meaning that you give into a certain object does not stop there. Okay? You need to give more meanings kung ano yung observable. Okay? Like for example, circle. Okay? Ano bang circle? Oh, circle lang. What is circle? It is a diretsong curve na nag-circle siguro ganon. So, yun lang yung meaning mo. However, if you give more meanings to that, it could be developed. Okay? So, circle, it could be used as a wheel. It could be used as a ball, all of those things. Okay? So, we give different meanings. So, madaming meanings ang mga pwede nating ibigay sa mga bagay. But we need to go beyond what is observable. Like for example here, we have the space and then the time. Okay? So for the time, sabi ko kanina, not all of the theory of Einstein was already proven. Now, sabi ni Einstein, ano bang observable sa time natin? Okay? We all know that we cannot go back to the past. Diba? We cannot bring back the time. Okay? Can we make the time faster? Pwede bang bumilis ang time natin? Or hindi? No? So, many people believe that time is permanent. But according to Einstein, it's not permanent. Is that proven? Yes, it is proven that time is not permanent. So according to Einstein, from his theory of relativity, you can make the time faster or you can make the time slower actually. No? By how? For his theory of relativity, sabi niya, if you move faster, the time is slower. If you move slower, if you move faster, the time is slower. And of course, if you move slower, the time is quite fast. So, paano yon? To make it into a simple analogy, ganito lang yan. Okay, like for example, meron kang kambal na pinanganak dito sa Earth. Sabihin na natin, na pinanganak kayo this year on 2021. After 50 years, hindi, 2021 ngayon. Yung isang baby A, naiwan sa Earth. Tapos yung baby B, sumakay sa isang rocket. Sabihin natin, sumakay sa isang rocket. Then yung rocket na yon travels with the speed of light in the space. So, nagka-travel lang siya. Travel lang ng travel. Now, after 50 years, yung baby A, ilang taon na si baby A? Obviously, 50 years old. Diba? But, when baby B came back here on Earth, ilan na? Guess what? Kung ilang taon si baby B? Okay? He is only around 2 to 3 years old lang. So, meaning, mas bumagal yung time ni baby B kaysa kay baby A. Kasi, si baby B travels or it moves a lot with the speed of light pa. Kung gaano kabilis, it will make the time slower. So, is that proven? Yes, that is proven po. Kaya, those are somewhat extraordinary discoveries. Kaya tinawag si Einstein as the father of the modern physics. Kasi it destroyed the physics. His theory destroyed the physics. Why? Because they believe that time is permanent. But anyway, those are only some of the examples of metaphysics. Okay, next here is we also have everything as the creation of God. So, according to the Bible, we believe that everything was created by God. But here in metaphysics, we do not believe quickly as possible. Okay, we need to probe, we need to prove as well, and we need to have some experiments then for metaphysics. Okay, number 2 is we have epistemology. And then it came from the Greek word logos, which means knowledge, and then theory. So it is defined as the theory of knowledge, which deals with the possibilities and limits of human knowledge. So meaning here, when we talk about epistemology, saan ba nanggagaling? Okay, we answer the question, where does the knowledge came from? Okay, so there are two school of thoughts who are clashing about kung saan nanggagaling yung ating knowledge. So first of all is we have rationalism. So according to rationalism, we draw knowledge from the mind or intellect alone. So ibig sabihin, the knowledge that we create only came from the mind. Okay? Ito daw ang nag-create ng knowledge natin. That is according for rationalism. However, according with empiricism, he doesn't believe to rationalism. Why? Because empiricism believes that we draw knowledge from our own experiences. Please take note of that, the word experience. So therefore, for empiricism, hindi yung mind actually gumagawa ng ating knowledge, but rather than empiricism. One very good example to demonstrate for empiricism. During the caveman, okay? O siguro, caveman, we all know when during the Stone Age, let us say, here are the cavemen. So they do not know that there's fire. They do not know how to make the fire. However, in one scenario siguro, the lightning struck the tree. Okay? So yung kidlat pumunta sa kahoy. Kinidlatan yung kahoy. And then, let us say, nag-apoy yung kahoy. And of course, these cavemen are ignorant of what is that. Okay, so because of their curiosity, siguro, they went there and then they felt what is the fire and then it can cook pala and so on and so forth. So therefore, The knowledge that they have created is that fire is something that you can use for you to heat something. It could heat your body. Okay, it make the temperature high for a certain circumstances. Pwede ka pang magluto. So yon. So may knowledge na kayo na may apoy pala or there is a fire. So here, according to empiricism, without the experience that they have experienced, of course, they will never know that there's a fire. So therefore, the knowledge does not really come from the rationalism, but rather on the experience alone. That is for empiricism. Now, according to rationalism naman, to rebut that claim of empiricism. Okay, sige, let us say that fire came from your own experience or a knowledge came from the experience of the person. Okay. What if you remove the rationality or the capability of a person to think? Will that person will be able to create a knowledge that fire is a fire and a fire could cook or you could use it with different things? Of course, no, according to rationalism. Okay? Let us say, what if it was saw by the pig? So yung fire was saw by the pig. Will the pig create a knowledge and then say it is a fire? Diba? Hindi naman. Well, hindi niya papansinin yan. So according to rationalism here, we also need to process on what is we observe in the environment or in our own experiences. Because experience alone will be experience itself. It is a knowledge, okay, without processing it. So therefore, that is for rationalism. So the both school of thoughts have their own claims. And if you analyze talaga yung claims nila, totoo nga naman, di ba? Wala namang mali sa kanila. They are both correct. But anyway, until now, this is an ending debate of epistemology, whether it is rationalism or empiricism. Depende yan. Most likely for physics philosophers, they are more on empiricism. Yung mga rationalism natin, it is more itong mga, hindi naman sa mga idealist, sila yung mga philosopher na more on politics din, but not all naman. Meron din yung iba, they are combination of rationalists and then empiricists. Okay, but anyway, those are the two things under rationalism versus empiricism.